That worked. Oh hey, we're here in the Maker Lab at Microcenter, but guess what? We've gotten a little bit bigger, and now we've got a Maker Garage. So follow me. We've got a really cool product for you today. We have the all brand new xTool M2 Laser Cutter Engraver and Printer. We'll talk about that a little bit more in a little bit. But here it is. Let's go ahead and get some of the pieces of it out and get it set up. We're going to be selling this here at Microcenter as it comes out, and we're going to be selling the $599 model. You heard me right. This is a fully enclosed laser engraver with 2 cameras built in for placement of your images and your designs onto the material for $599. That's a 10-watt diode laser, and it's a class 1 laser, meaning it's safe for use in homes. You still want to make sure you exhaust it appropriately, but we'll get to that. Let's go ahead and set it up. It looks like we've got some power that we're going to hook up. So we have our power port down here. I'm going to start with it off. And then under this sticker, we have our expansion ports. Now, if you're familiar with the xTool line of lasers, this is nothing new to you. They've had these expansion ports in the past for things like the rotary stages, for things like, I believe the fire suppression or air assist also used these. Could be wrong on that. And then finally at the top, not to be confused with the expansion ports, which is why I'm going to stick this back on there, is our USB-C data port. By the way, we're doing this whole thing Andy style where I don't read anything ahead of time and I just guess at how it's set up. So this could go very wrong or very right, but that's all on me. We've got this little bag full of tools, screws, and these little magnetic widgets, which I think might be to hold down like paper, if you're going to engrave paper. Hopefully we'll see how that works out later. We've got an exhaust tube. I'm going to put one side on here, which holds down pretty nicely based on the design of that. And then I'm going to take the included clamp and I'm going to loosen it a little bit more. And we're going to place that over here. So this makes me curious. Now both sides have that. I need somebody that can read Mandarin characters. Nope. Sorry, that's not.
What are you trying to figure out?
Which side this is?
This is to attach to the main exhaust opening.
Okay, so then we'll do this side. I don't think it matters, but for the sake of the fact that it had a sticker on there, we shall use that side. All right, so we got it all hooked up. Got a couple more pieces of foam we can chuck. So I think what we want to do is I think we want to hook up the laser head. And I think what we figured out was that the way you hook it up and the way you hook up different end effectors, which we'll talk about later, is with this USB-C cable here. So I'm going to go ahead and click that in. One more time for good measure. Click. And then down on the side here, down on the side right here, we have another one. And before I attach it, I'm going to go ahead and press that in first. And then I'm going to let the magnets kind of take over. That's it. We've got our 10-watt laser head on there. If you were to upgrade to the 20-watt laser head, it would be that simple as well. We just connect the USB, let the magnets take over, and Bob's your uncle. So for an enclosed laser with a pretty respectable bed size, coming in at $600 roughly, and again, fully enclosed, multiple cameras, has more than the ability to just cut stuff and engrave stuff. That's pretty unique. I don't know that there's a ton of other options out there for not only printing on material, but then cutting out around it, especially with the number of cameras, you're going to be able to really make sure that the alignment of that cut is spot on. So some really cool things and possibilities there. Again, we talked about this material being the right color for diffusing the wavelengths of lasers that are not great for people. So they've thought about safety there by making sure that they have this fully enclosed. xTool started with kind of open frame lasers, and they included the ability to upgrade to enclosures, but they've come a long way, and I'm personally very excited to see this thing in its current form. So let's keep going. So I'm gonna do a quick once through. Get rid of some of this stuff. We got all kinds of stuff. We got some acrylic, we got some felt, we have some leather patches with, I'm gonna guess, we'll talk about this in a second. Hey, that second's gone. We have some leather patches with adhesive. Let's go ahead and use one of these leather patches to make a microcenter logo for my laptop. Perfect. All right, so I have the xTool M2 with my serial number here showing up. And I'm going to go ahead and click connect. Ooh, so how are you doing? So the first thing they want you to do, which I highly recommend, is go through their xTool Laser and Fire Safety Awareness and Training course. And for the sake of the video, we'll speed it up. All right, so I'm gonna update. While this is updating, I'm gonna go see if we have something that we can put to raise up the material just a little bit so we can cut through it. So come follow me through the Maker Garage. We're gonna see if we have any other things laying around we can utilize. You can see that we've got our xTool, I think this is the S1 with the upgraded base. And then over here we also have the P2. Does this have any of those pieces in it? Let me check. Let's see what else we can use. This is like, how do you mock something up really fast? Let's see. Some cool toys, some filament. We're gonna find something here in about 3 seconds. Yeah. I think we found the exact right thing we want. Oh, that sounds like the firmware is done updating. So what I grabbed was from our toy aisle over there, some big pluses. And I'm gonna see if I can fashion a relatively quick and simple riser setup. And we're just gonna raise it up like that. Now, so we've got some material. We were gonna focus on first doing this. Actually, we didn't even need to do that for this. Let's just go ahead and put that in there at some wonky angle. Let's go ahead and close the lid. When you're doing anything like this, it's not a bad idea to check that your material's kind of flat. So I see it's like peeking up a little bit. So I'll just kind of bend it in the opposite direction and try to let it lay as flat as possible. Not a huge deal, but here we go. Ooh, that's wild. Okay, I didn't expect that at all. This is genuine, pure astonishment at what just happened. Let's talk about it. So I put a material into the laser, closed the lid, and the laser was like, hey, I saw you just put a material in there. I'm gonna go over and check out how tall that material is so that I know when I go to engrave it, where it's at for the focal length of the laser. That's wild. That's beyond amazing. I have been using lasers now for over 15 years. And the fact that it just did that by itself, I'm not saying there's not other lasers out there that do it. What I'm saying is that's the first time I've ever experienced that, and I'm pretty happy about that right now. So let's keep going. So on my screen, I can now see the overhead view of that. If I want to do a close-up photo, I can click this button here, and I'm going to choose roundaboutly where I want it. And I believe what's going to happen is the head's going to travel over to that area on the screen and take a close-up picture, which will allow me to get real detailed. There's also a button for close-up stitching. So if you have a bunch of close-ups, or if you want to do close-ups on a larger frame, because it's only doing, let's say, 2.5 inch by 3.5 inch frame, you can stitch those close-ups together. This is perfectly fine for my use right now. That was awesome. That was awesome that it did that. As you're designing any of this stuff, transparency is important, so you probably want to look for PNGs or potentially SVGs. What I just copied here, it says logo PNG vector format. Let's go in here and just click paste and see what happens. Design elements loading. All right, got it, auto adjust. Yeah, I mean, that looks good to me. If there's a crop, because I don't know why, but I'm gonna crop it. Probably don't need to. Save. And then I'm gonna go ahead and resize it down to about the size of what I want. And then because I put the material in all wonky, I'm gonna go ahead and rotate it till it looks about right. Material, unknown material. Let's click on that. And then my materials under leather, deep brown, black PU leather. So this is what I was talking about earlier. When you buy some of this stuff wherever you buy it from, and I believe we sell some of this stuff as well, some of these laser engravable materials, consumables. You might choose brown PU leather. I believe PU is polyurethane, so it's like a fake leather. But we're gonna go ahead and apply that as the material. It knows that we have the 10-watt laser at 455 nanometers, and it's gonna set it at 40% power on a 10-watt and at 200 millimeters per second. And that's a setting that it chose based on that. And engraving mode bidirectional, meaning it will engrave each way that it goes. Sometimes it makes sense to just do unidirectional, like engrave, go back, engrave, go back, engrave. But bidirectional is a little bit faster. And I think we're ready to process. So I'm gonna go ahead and make sure this is on, and I'm gonna go ahead and turn it up to the max. We're gonna do something called framing first, where it goes out and kind of outlines it first, just to see. And in order to do that, there's a very important thing to know about lasers. Lasers should not be operated without supervision of somebody there at all times. And to ensure that you're not operating this machine remotely, once you send a job or once you ask the laser to do something, you need to physically, with your own personal being, go and touch a button. And what it's doing right now, it basically outlined where it's gonna engrave. I'm gonna do that again. One more time for fun. All right, framing completed, and I'm ready to start. Now, it is ready to process. However, again, I must initiate it here at the machine. So what's interesting, this button that I've never noticed before is called Enable Monitoring. Enable Monitoring. So yes, in fact, there is a mode where you can see the camera and on your computer see what you're doing, or see what the camera sees. And you do see that it's like a fisheye lens type deal. So this is being touted, I think very accurately so, is the xTool M2 Colorcraft laser. And the question is, who is the audience for this? I think the audience for this is anyone who's been wanting to get into a laser, but has either been not sure about price point. You know, they weren't ready to like drop over $1,000 for a laser. They were concerned with safety. They've addressed so many things here. And then on top of that, really, ease of use. Again, my astonishment at it coming over as soon as I close the lid without it even me asking it to, and measuring the height of the material, identifying the material, measuring the height of the material for focal length. Yeah. And then again, having that library of materials that xTool does, so that you can basically choose and it will set up the settings for you. Now, when we're done with this, we might realize that it's not as dark as we want it, and that's okay. We can go still mess around with things like the feeds and the speeds, specifically the power of the laser and how fast it's going. And by adjusting either two of those sliders in either direction, right, you adjust how quickly it cuts, but then also how dark the burn is or how much it is engraving. So I'm pretty excited about this right now as a laser for people that have wanted to get into it, but either didn't want to spend over $1,000 or weren't ready for something that wasn't ready for them. I think what we're seeing here is a moment in laser engraving where a pretty substantial machine is available at a really impressive price point. Kind of like how 3D printers came down over the years and become more and more accessible. So all of that being said, we are done with our microcenter leather patch. Now, on this first run, you can see we stopped it a little bit early on. Yeah. And so it got a double batch of laser engraving there. It really depends on what you're going for, and lasering stuff can get much darker than that, but I kind of like the slightly lighter, almost silvery version. So I think what I'll do is I'll stick another one back in, and we'll do it one more time. But in order to show off how great these cameras are, I'm just gonna let it plop down wherever it may lie. So we put it down, it's recognizing the background, it's taking a global image, and I believe it's just gonna go do it on its own. That's crazy. So one of the big things with doing this kind of laser engraving, let's say you need to make like 100 of these patches, right? A smart way to do it would be to create a jig. So basically outlining the shape of your patch and then cutting out on a piece of wood or cardboard a place for those patches to live. That's one way to do it, but now with the camera system as it is, you could just throw a bunch of these on there and essentially just line it up and go from there. That's a pretty cool time saver if you're only doing it once or twice and you don't want to create a whole bunch of jigs. And again, the M1 Ultra did not have a camera built in. You would use your phone to snap a picture and then put it into the software and it would align using the alignment points. But this is great. This is a lot of fun to be able to just throw something in there and put it down and let it go. Now, this is done. Kind of get that shimmery effect. All right, let's cut through some wood since we have it up on these blocks. All right, let's see what it does. I'm gonna click finished. Just for the heck of it, let's cut out that microcenter logo. And in doing so, the only thing that we're going to lose is gonna be the inside of that O. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna attempt to edit this path here by including this longish rectangle. Let me show you what I'm doing here. So let's zoom in. All right, so see how this is like sizing the height and the width or length? Let's unlink it. That is called aspect ratio, and it was locked. So let's unlock that. We just need a little sliver. Might be subtraction or something to this. Haha, we got it. So we subtracted one path from the other path to give us this broken up O. Now we can go here and we're gonna go ahead and cut. I lied. Let's look at what score looks like first. To those of you who are new to laser, score means we're gonna like do a cut so fast that it doesn't go through. We're just gonna like go through a little bit, but on the line. So scoring is actually a great way to engrave things very quickly, especially on materials like wood, even leather, etc. But that was super quick. Love that. Now, I'm gonna go back here. I'm gonna choose cut this time. And it's gonna be at 100% power. Again, it's a 10-watt laser and we're cutting through 3 millimeters worth of plywood. We're gonna go ahead and start. Press the button. Yeah, and you said you can smell it? Yeah. This is one of the best parts of laser cutting is the smell. Ta-da! All right, so we've had a little bit of time and we've been playing with the laser more. We're laser engraving a chip. We're having a lot of fun. I've taken that original cut that we did and I was able to shape right around the piece of wood. Actually, let me show you that here. So this was inside here when we did the original test. Actually, ta-da! You can kind of see that. So I was able to frame my cut around there. I grabbed this file from xTool Studio where it has a lot of examples for you. And then I simplified it a little bit and cut out these two pieces. And then I used that first patch that we did to decorate the back of that. It is 1:48 in the morning. So I'm gonna go back into the xTool Studio and I'm just gonna look for ruler. All I'm looking for is like a small 6-inch ruler that has inches on one side and preferably millimeters on the other side. Not looking for anything too fancy. Simple ruler would be nice. That's simple. So I've condensed it down, but I do need, I'm gonna right click on this and put this on the red layer. And for the red layer, what I'm gonna do is make sure the red layer is just a score, which it's already set to. I'm gonna put this outlining edge on a different path that will actually cut. So I'm gonna put this on, let's call it the blue path. And I'm gonna set the blue path here in the software to cut. And it's at 106. And what I just got done saying was I think I can take this up to, well, let's just say 9, make that nice. Okay, and I think we're ready to go. It's gonna go in and check the autofocus there. So right now what it's doing is it's scoring all of the tick marks and the numbers. I'm perfectly happy with that level of scoring. I believe the bed dimensions of this are 12 inches by roughly 16 inches, which, let's talk bed size for a second. I think that's very admirable for this class of laser. A lot of times when you get these enclosed lasers that are honestly, in this case, they don't take up a ton of space or like real estate on your desktop or let's say your countertop. You sacrifice space, but I think xTool's done an amazing job, especially on this here, the M2, at utilizing as much of the laserable area as possible for the footprint. I get frustrated when I see lasers that are less than 12 inches. They'll be like 11.9 or 11.8. And a lot of times the stock that you're gonna find, especially here in the US, is going to be in the neighborhood of 12 inches by 12 inches or 12 inches by 24. So the fact that they thought through that and said, hey, yeah, let's make it a size that makes sense, and we're coming in around $600 US, I think that's incredible. Just like that. We've got our ruler. So, now that we have this, we're gonna take this nice sheet of walnut ply, and we're gonna cut out a box that has interlocking tabs, like that, and a rotatable lid. And then I think we'll go as far as to line the inside with a piece of this colored felt. I'm liking this weird yellowish brown right now that reminds me of hamburger buns. Let's just go with that. Let's go back to some of the design work. All right, we're gonna go out to the web. Maker case. Basic box, laser hinge box, even better. Sweet. All right, download. All right, so what we're left with is a whole bunch of pieces and parts to cut out. Let's go ahead and download the SVG. SVG stands for Scalable Vector Graphic. Anytime you're dealing with things that you want a machine to deal with or you want to print out in real life, SVG is great. So now that we have that SVG, we're going to import. Okay, cool. So it is in there now. Let me go ahead and put this piece of walnut ply. And I think before we go all in and start running this walnut plywood, I think probably the best thing to do is do a little sample cut to make sure that we don't go the whole way through and nothing cuts the whole way through. Hopefully these two little squares will go through. They're a perfect little thing to test. They are gonna go through. I knew it, yay. That's fantastic. Okay, if it can go through those two, it should be able to go through the rest. I'm gonna hit finished. I'm gonna go and select everything once again. And I'm going to go to output and turn the output back on for everything. And now we can go to process once again. Measure twice, cut 3 times, go. I don't think there's been anything yet that this laser, we've been like, oh, a laser should do this, and it hasn't done that yet, so that's kind of cool. I think we got it. Let's put it together. Now, in true Andy fashion, I could go ahead and just start putting this together and see what happens. A+ to the box generator and A+ to the laser cutter. Come on, buddy. We made that with this laser. That is some fine woodworking. Let's get those internal dimensions, cut out that brown piece, and call it a day on this project. We'll see if our screwdrivers still fit. That fit just perfectly well. I've had a lot of fun with this laser today. It's checking more boxes than I even expected it to right out of the gate. Getting to this point, building a multi-material project that's functioning and looks good and is out of nice material has been a lot of fun. Make sure to check out your local microcenter for the xTool M2 and all of the accessories that go with it. And we'll see you next time in the Maker Garage at Microcenter.